Hi friendies, and thank you for clicking on this video. The topic of today's video is horrible business decisions of makeup brands. And first of all, if you haven't seen my The Problem with Makeup Geek video, please go and watch, because basically the whole video is me just discussing their bad, horrible, stupid business decision that affected the success of the brand, or the lack of success perhaps. So there is that. But my first point, so the first actual horrible business decision for a makeup brand that I'm gonna talk about today is a name change slash rebranding. So for this, I'm gonna bring an example of the brand that was originally known as Makeup Monsters. It steadily grew popularity in its liquid lipsticks niche, gained popularity on Reddit among bloggers, even bigger ones like Stephanie Nicole. And the overall spooky aesthetic of the brand really appealed to the audience, and it was perhaps something new, something original. But then the brand decided to rename themselves, and they became Menagerie Cosmetics. First of all, some people didn't even notice that. They were just wondering where their favorite makeup brand, Makeup Monsters, went, and then they just forgot about it. So the brand lost their visibility in the makeup community, and they lost their brand awareness. Apparently, another thing is that Menagerie Cosmetics appeals to a different kind of audience than Makeup Monsters had appealed to, because it's very different. Makeup Monsters was like witchy, spooky vibe, monsters, Halloween perhaps, and Menagerie Cosmetics is more something like chill, animals oriented. And another thing, as I said, Makeup Monsters were very popular with their liquid lipsticks, but when they renamed and rebranded into Menagerie Cosmetics, they only released their bestseller liquid lipsticks only like months way later than when the rebranding happened, and some of the fans' favorite liquid lipstick shades were never brought back. So generally, a lot of makeup lovers agreed that it was a bad business decision. The second point that I'm gonna talk about is something a very large point. Basically, you know how social media affects our lives, how the whole world has changed because of social media. Decades ago, we didn't have such a straight line of communication to brands and business owners. I mean, the only way of communication would have been letters, and like consumers would send letters or something with requests to the brands. But now every brand has a social presence, and every brand owner has a social presence, and they are much closer to us than ever before. We can even communicate with the brands and brand owners within seconds, instantly. But that of course has its downfalls too. And we all know about problematic brand owners. I had a video about brands that I don't support, but none of us would have been familiar with any of the issues with these brands or people behind the brands if not for social media. The reason we have encountered them in the first place is because those brands and people have shared that negative part of their identity on social media for us to see and consume, which of course generally hurts their brand image. And that's what I'm leading to, that a very bad and horrible business decision of a makeup brand is to have rants on their social media page, display their controversial opinions, talking bad about people, about customers, laughing at their customers, maybe displaying their reactions on some negative reviews, because boy, negative reviews can drive some brand owners crazy enough for them to call the customers names, say that they are ugly, basically insulting them. There were a lot of cases like that, and again, we would have never encountered those information if not for social media rants on Instagram stories, Instagram posts, videos, whatever. Just today I woke up to a piece of news that Lime Crime creator Doug Deer was calling us, the modern progressive generation of humanity, thin-skinned slugs, because of her thesis how world is overly politically correct or something. That's what I got from her rant. But yeah, nobody would have known what piece of shit Doug Deer is if not for her social media presence, which was quite an active presence. But I mean, what do I, a thin-skinned slug, know? Neither do you know anything, you fellow thin-skinned slugs. What a beautiful combo of words. So another horrible business decision of makeup brands that I'm going to talk about is problematic, controversial names. It's something that has affected me personally, and maybe that's what inspired this video. But yeah, what I mean is sometimes a name of the shade, a name of the product can be a name of something very tragic, like an event where people died. So you get the point. First of all, when Jaclyn Hill released her eyeshadow collection, which was the Vault, so collaboration times, yeah, you know, the Vault. In one of the palettes, the orange shade was called Agent. That is the name of the poisonous gas that was used to kill people during the Vietnam War. And a lot of people were rightfully upset by this name, but Morphe wasn't the only one. Another thing I have encountered is that one of MAC's collaboration was themed after Juarez. Juarez is a town in Mexico, and it's very infamous, notorious for a crazy huge amount of women killed, murdered, and missing. It's the city most known for its violence against women, possibly one of the most tragic towns in the whole world because of how many cases there are. And let me see, products had names like Factory and Ghost Town, and all these names refer to Juarez, Mexico. Another thing I have encountered personally, I am an active user of Reddit. I love indie makeup, and I lurk a lot around the indie makeup and more subreddit. And from there I learned about indie brand from the UK, which is known Crow Pebble. I always look out for more European and UK based indie brands because I feel like shipping is so much easier. Tracking code always works, so you can track your package through every step because it's not I don't know why, but that's just it. That's just how it works. And I know a lot of European people prefer UK based European brands too because they don't have to pay import taxes. I mean, maybe it will change after Brexit comes into full power, but that's not that's not relevant to me as I'm not in the European Union. But so I was browsing on the website of the brand Crow Pebble. The section that I went immediately was green shadows because I mean I'm just enticed by green shadows. And when I clicked on one of them, it had a normal name, but you know, the shade would have like pictures and swatches next to it if you scroll. And I scrolled and there was like an arm swatch of several shades, and I saw that one of them was called Chernobyl Power Station, and I got shocked. To me, that's, I mean, even now thinking of it, I have no words. To me, that was disgusting. I don't understand how you can name something after a tragedy where people died, and such a huge, massive tragedy, such a unique tragedy. A lot of people have this irrational or maybe pretty rational fear of an event like that, including atom power station. Thing like that happened in Japan or Fukushima. To me, it's like very horrible to think a possibility of that. Just, it's horrible for me to think of a concept like that, let alone the actual tragedy that happened. But someone chose to name this shade and to basically gain profit from naming something after tragedy where people died. I mean, I would understand if someone would name like a poem or write a book or film a documentary and about the tragedy, but naming your product after that, an eyeshadow, and gaining profit, for me is wrong. I have reached out to the brand owner, and there was no shade like that on the website. It was not on the sale. It was, the only trace of the shade was in that one single swatch picture on the arm. And what I have assumed is that she stopped selling this shade because it was so controversial and problematic, and she understood she was wrong. I mean, she's the owner. But when I reached out to her, she said that she named this shade after one of the characters in one of Neil Gaiman's book, and she just stopped selling it on its own, and I was the first person who said anything wrong about the shade name. I love Neil Gaiman, but maybe I have super bad memory. I don't remember which book it was from. Possibly I haven't read this specific book. I have read maybe like 5 books of his, but it's like, yeah, even if we're talking about shade names from Neil Gaiman's book, I have read a very thick book of Neil Gaiman's short stories, and a lot of them very spooky, but one of them was about a maniac, a serial killer who raped and killed hitchhikers. So if we're just naming our shades after Neil Gaiman's book, would it be okay to name an eyeshadow something like hitchhiker, rape and murder? Hi, this is me again. This is an insert. I want to add another bad business decision for a makeup brand, and it concerns PR packages. So if we go back to Menagerie Cosmetics, the brand that I have discussed already, apparently they had a zero PR policy, and arguably that could also influence what they themselves called as the lack of support by the customers. Basically, some people think that decision like that possibly is not the smartest, but I also want to talk about, let's take a hypothetical indie brand Small brand with possibly one or a couple person behind the scenes. What would be a horrible business decision for such a makeup brand is to send PR to someone big as Jaclyn Hill, who has like millions of subscribers, or even to someone who has like 300, 400,000 of subscribers. Someone like Raw Beauty Christie, that would be also a bad decision for this brand because of how much they get and how much sponsorships they get and affiliate codes and everything. Not sending PR of course also affects the brand, as not as many people learn about it as they would if some influencers showcase the products. So I think the best decisions would be to send PR packages to smaller influencers, someone with like maybe 10,000, someone around that mark or a bit less. Small influencers would be always grateful and they would take the time to showcase the product that the brand took the time to send them to. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't leave your hateful, aggressive comments down below. Please don't do that. There will be negative consequences such as blocking. Nothing else, just blocking. Hopefully I will see you in my next videos. Bye bye.